You once set to believe what really happened in 1954. While the world was asleep, the President of the United States vanished for several hours. They said it was a dental emergency, but that was just the cover story. The truth? He may have met with beings from another world and signed a treaty that changed humanity forever. Not a single word about this was broadcast. No headlines, no official record. But the clues were always there. Sudden tech explosions, unexplained disappearances, and a chain of cover-ups that defies logic. You can try to ignore it, but what if it's all true? Few people notice, but in 1954, something strange happened. President Dwight D. Eisenhower vanished for a few hours during an official trip to California. They said he chipped a tooth and went to the dentist, but no one ever saw that dentist. No photos, no proof, just silence and rumors that only grew over time. Some researchers swear he didn't go to any clinic, but to Edwards Air Force Base. Why? For a secret meeting with extraterrestrial beings. That's right, the first formal contact between the US government and alien entities. According to insiders and leaked files, the meeting wasn't accidental. It had been negotiated months in advance, but no one wanted the public to ever know. That's where the so-called Greada Treaty was born. A supposed agreement where humans would allow limited abductions in exchange for alien technology. Sounds like sci-fi, right? But what if it's real and still shaping the world today? What happened next raised even more suspicion. You won't believe what was found in declassified files years later. Right after 1954, UFO sightings and missing persons cases suddenly spiked. Coincidence? Or was a dark deal being set in motion? If the Greada Treaty is real, then someone, possibly thousands of people, were being used as bargaining chips. The deal supposedly allowed aliens to carry out controlled abductions, so long as no permanent harm was done. But who monitored that? Who enforced those limits? Reports of mutilations and invasive procedures skyrocketed in the following decades. And the strangest part? Military officials seemed to know everything and did nothing. In return, technology exploded out of nowhere. Lasers, microchips, fiber optics, all appearing in just a few short years. Could it really be a coincidence? Or are we using inventions today that didn't originate on Earth? But one hidden clause in the treaty shocked even the insiders. According to leaked versions of the Greada Treaty, there was a secret clause almost never discussed. It allowed aliens to build underground bases on US soil, completely off the public radar. One of them is rumored to be the infamous Dulce base in New Mexico, shrouded in stories of genetic experiments, hybrid beings, and tech far beyond our understanding. Anonymous sources who claimed to work there described endless corridors, deep underground levels with extreme security, and something else, something not human. There are even reports of shootouts between US forces and alien entities. If any of this is true, then a silent war has been happening beneath our feet for decades. But why allow such a thing? Why surrender territory to beings from another world? Maybe it was fear, or maybe it was greed. Whatever the reason, something was sealed in that 1954 meeting, something we still don't fully grasp. And what happened to Eisenhower afterward raised even more red flags. After that alleged encounter, Eisenhower was never the same. His demeanor shifted. His gaze, heavier. Some say he began speaking in codes, avoiding certain words, even in private meetings. And when asked about UFOs in public, he always dodged the question. Always. Some believe he tried to warn us in his 1961 farewell speech, when he spoke about the dangers of the military-industrial complex. But what did he really mean? Could he have been referring to military control over alien tech? Or worse, an agreement he could no longer undo? His silence spoke louder than any words, and it didn't end with him. Nixon, Reagan, even Clinton tiptoed around the same subject. But a document leaked years later could change everything we thought we knew. In 1989, a document surfaced that rocked the UFO community, the alleged Majestic 12 Papers, a series of top-secret memos referencing the Greada Treaty and a classified committee handling alien contact. The document's authenticity was debated, but its contents were too detailed to dismiss. Real names, real dates, real tech. One section claimed the government knew the risks, but proceeded anyway. Another said abductions were escalating, with aliens breaking the deal. And the worst part? Humans were being kept alive in captivity. Those inside the program began to panic. But speaking out meant disappearing. Many say the MJ-12 papers were a distraction, something planted to confuse researchers. But if that's true, why go to such great lengths to bury them? And why did so many people tied to them die mysteriously? And what if the true plan was even darker than the original treaty? Few know this, but along with the Greada Treaty, another secret project was born, Project Sigma. According to whistleblowers and former officials, this initiative aimed to intercept alien communications and control anything that reached the public. Every signal, image, or sound would be analyzed, classified, and, if needed, erased. Entire satellites were repositioned to monitor specific frequencies. Arctic and Antarctic bases were involved, far from civilian eyes. Tech companies were allegedly recruited to filter real-time data. That's why so many photos and videos of UFOs seem to just vanish online. They don't get deleted, they get buried. And if it's still happening today, what have we already seen and then forgotten? Not by accident, but by design. And the next topic might reveal how this affects our freedom even now. Have you noticed how UFO sightings always seem the same? The same shapes, the same denials, the same silence afterward. That's not random. After the Greada Treaty, a new strategy emerged: global narrative control. And behind it, fear or compliance. Surveillance systems weren't just watching the skies, they were tracking who talks about them. Journalists, pilots, soldiers, even civilians. Some say algorithms were trained to detect and suppress certain keywords: UFO, alien, abduction, Greada. Videos get demonetized, channels vanish. Witnesses go quiet or disappear. Meanwhile, skepticism is pushed hard. Everything's a meme, a joke, distraction. The goal, to make you doubt your own eyes. But one piece of evidence slipped through, and it came from the last place you'd expect. In 2001, a civil engineer named Thomas Costello came forward with chilling claims. He said he worked at the secret Dultas base, yes, the same one linked to the Greada Treaty. According to him, the base housed living hybrid experiments, labs filled with alien tech, and humans being studied like lab rats. He described it in detail: 7 underground levels, each more restricted than the last. At the deepest, humans weren't in charge anymore. They were simply tools. He even claimed a rebellion broke out inside, with casualties on both sides, military and alien. Costello sounded terrified, but determined to speak. Soon after his revelations, he vanished. No trace, no investigation, no coverage, as if he'd never existed. But something even more disturbing came next from within the Vatican itself. Almost no one talks about it, but the Vatican holds one of the world's most guarded archives. And among those secret files, reports of non-human contact. Some insiders say the church was briefed on the Greada Treaty before it was signed. Why? Because the truth would shatter faith if revealed unprepared. The Vatican even runs high-tech space observatories, one of which is literally named Lucifer Coincidence or Symbolic. Rumors say private meetings occurred between US generals and church officials to align the message before disclosure. Control the faith, control the panic. Some believe miracles and angelic apparitions in history were actually disguised alien encounters, beings of light, voices from the sky. And the final piece of this puzzle involves a president and a hidden video. In 1994, former US President Jimmy Carter shared something shocking. He'd seen a UFO personally, and during his presidency, when he demanded access to top-secret files, he was denied. Let that sink in. The President of the United States was blocked from seeing what others knew. Carter allegedly received a private video. It showed a meeting between military personnel and alien beings. He watched it and left the room in silence. One insider claimed Carter wept afterward, not out of fear, but frustration. "The world isn't ready," he reportedly said. "But who decides when we are?" The video was never seen again. No trace, but his reaction, that was real. And he wasn't the only one whose emotions revealed more than words ever could. His name was Phil Schneider, an engineer and geologist with high-level clearance on black-budget government projects. In 1995, he stood on a stage and said, "I helped build underground bases, and I saw things no one should ever see." Then he began to describe direct encounters with aliens, deep underground, gunfire, casualties, and a treaty gone horribly wrong. Phil revealed scars on his body, claiming he'd been attacked by one of those beings. His lectures went viral within the conspiracy community. He seemed scared, but driven to speak the truth. He said the Greada Treaty wasn't a theory. It was common knowledge behind classified walls. But his biggest fear was being silenced, and that's exactly what happened. Months later, Phil was found dead in his apartment. Official cause: suicide. But the marks told a different story. Files vanished. So did his equipment, and no one in the media questioned it. But his final words still echo and connect to a sound from the depths of the ocean. In 1997, NOAA, America's oceanic research agency, picked up a terrifying sound. They named it the bloop, a deep, thunderous noise from the Pacific Ocean, so powerful it was detected by sensors over 3,000 miles apart. But here's the scary part. It didn't match any known creature, not whales, not earthquakes, and definitely not human-made. Experts scrambled to explain it. Cracking ice? Shifting plates? Acoustic anomalies? But internal NOAA memos hinted at something else. Something enormous was moving down there. And then, it stopped. No more sound, like it knew it was being heard, and went silent. Strangely enough, the area it came from matches a hot spot of mysterious lights, missing submarines, and uncharted underwater structures. Some say the Greada Treaty allowed not just underground bases, but oceanic ones too. And what was discovered next seemed to prove it. In 2013, someone exploring Google Earth found something strange on the ocean floor, a perfectly rectangular shape, hundreds of meters wide. It looked like an artificial structure, like a doorway carved into the seabed. The image spread fast on forums, conspiracy sites, and YouTube. Then it vanished. When users returned to the same coordinates, the detail was gone, replaced by a bland texture. What was it? A glitch? A data error? Or something that wasn't meant to be seen? Some believe it was the entrance to a sub-oceanic alien base, part of the Greada arrangement, a place where hybrid programs and tech experiments were unfolding, far from human oversight. And every attempt to get closer, whether with submarines, drones, or sonar, has been blocked. Restricted zone, they say. But since when does the ocean have restricted ownership? And the deeper question remains, why all the secrecy? No one questions it, but we should. The leaps we made in technology were unnaturally fast. Before 1950, progress was slow. Then suddenly, lasers, microchips, fiber optics, stealth tech, all within a generation. Coincidence? Or the result of reverse-engineered alien technology? Several inventors said ideas came to them in dreams. That formulas just appeared. Strange? Maybe. But it's consistent with testimonies from those working on secret military programs. Some even link modern breakthroughs to crashed alien crafts, retrieved, studied, repurposed. The kicker? Many of these patents are owned by the US Department of Defense. It's as if we're only being given scraps, while the real breakthroughs stay hidden. But the scariest part isn't what we have now, it's what they're still hiding. If the Greada Treaty is real, if there truly was a deal with alien beings, then what's the endgame? No alliance like this exists without a long-term goal, and leaked documents suggest that the US government isn't just trying to survive contact, it's preparing for what comes next. There's talk of a post-contact protocol, a master plan for the day the alien presence can no longer be denied. It includes media suppression strategies, communication lockdowns, and even fake panic simulations to test public reactions. But what if that moment is already on the horizon? What if everything, AI, weather manipulation, global unrest, is part of a silent preparation? We might be standing on the edge of a truth that will change everything. The real question is, were we warned or just used as pawns in a game we never understood? If everything you just heard sounds insane, that's because it was designed to sound that way. The best way to hide the truth has always been to dress it up as madness. But when you start connecting the dots, the silence, the tech leaps, the disappearances, you start to see the pattern. What if this is happening right now, in front of us? What if humanity made a deal decades ago, and we're only now facing the consequences? Maybe the real question isn't are we alone? But Are we still in control of our own planet? If this content made you think, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share this with someone who deserves to know the truth.